How you doing there, folks? This is Jeff.
And Kelly?
We have been doing a show called Crash Course Cinema, which has been a bunch of fun. We just finished Return of the Jedi, so we finished the original trilogy for Star Wars. But as much fun as it was, for one, it took a long time to get an episode done.
Yes.
Because, just the length of the movie, me trying to remember everything, you kind of got to do it in sessions.
Also, life.
Yeah, because it takes so long to get one done, it takes a while to get it out. And so we wind up only releasing, one episode a month, if that.
Yeah, hopefully.
And on top of that, it's also a show very much built on me talking to Kelly and Kelly not having as much room to talk. So it's like, the whole fucking point is discussion. So it's like, we're gonna try something a little different. We're gonna do a little more shorter format shows, a little more general movie talk, but hopefully still making it fun and entertaining. Title just comes from one of my favorite dinners, which is popcorn for dinner.
Yes.
Because, if you're having popcorn for dinner, then chances are you're probably watching a movie. And what's fucking better than that? So essentially here we decided to start it off. We just kind of went with it. We didn't really have a subject we were going to talk about. So we just sort of started talking. So we're just going to cut you in right when it starts to get interesting. Also, as a heads up, there's going to be some spoilers in here for Midsommar, Hereditary, Inception, and the little known pile of garbage, Righteous Kill. So this is episode 1 of Popcorn for Dinner, and we now take you to a conversation currently in progress. That's not the bad movie. In like 2007, 2008, something like that, all of a sudden it was like, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro in a movie together for the first time in, 15 years, whatever, like that was sort of like how people were hyping it up. Like, oh shit, they're going to be in this like detective movie and they're both like old grizzled cops. And yeah, and it was called Righteous Kill. And it was fucking horrible. It is a terrible movie. It is so fucking bad. I like, it's embarrassing that that's the second time that they like share screen time in a movie. It's such a forgettable afterthought of a movie. I went to go see it pretty much solely because of that.
Yeah.
I was bored. It's like 2008, so what? I'm like 19 or something like that. It's not like I got a bunch of other shit to do. So it's like, all right, fine, I'll go and I'll see this fucking movie. Donnie Wahlberg's in it too, as like a cop. I'm pretty sure it's Donnie Wahlberg, but yeah, Donnie Wahlberg's in it. It's like him. Fuck, it's him and someone else. I want to say like John Leguizamo, but I think I'm wrong. But it's Donnie Wahlberg and someone else, and they're playing like younger cops who are like trying to figure it out because I guess there's some like serial killer on the loose or some shit like that. It's been a long time since I've seen it. So
have you seen it since then?
I don't think so. But I'm like, there's such a specific thing about that makes it so dumb that I do somewhat remember on top of it all. But like the beginning of the movie, you're watching like a video being made, or not. You're not watching a video being made. You're watching someone who's like, being filmed with like a digital camcorder.
Okay.
And that someone is Robert De Niro, and he's standing there and he's reading something. Basically, he says like, okay, maybe I don't remember it as well as I thought I did, but he gives his name and he says that like, I'm the one who's been killing these people or something like that. And then it does the whole like flash back in time before this happened, 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah.
And it's showing like him and Al Pacino's character, and they are on like this case that he was talking about, like someone shooting a serial killer, like shooting people and killing them and leaving clues or whatever.
Yeah.
The whole fucking movie, De Niro and Pacino call each other by nickname the whole time.
Okay.
They never use their names. They're like, hey, what's up, Rooster? Like, not much, dickbag. I don't remember the fucking other name. But they call each other nicknames the whole movie. And so does everybody else.
What?
Everyone in the movie only uses their fucking nicknames. And the whole reason is so that at the end of the movie, it's a twist when it turns out it's Al Pacino who is actually the one doing the killings. And he's going to kill Robert De Niro, but I think he's given Robert De Niro his like confession to read on the camera.
Okay.
So he's reading Pacino's confession and reading the words, I am, Brian Robertson, whatever the fuck his name was, And it's like, oh my God, that's the only reason that everybody calls them by their nicknames is so that you don't figure out that twist.
Yeah.
5 seconds into the movie when they fucking start calling each other by the other name.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you let that be like the linchpin of your fucking movie?
That is awful.
I don't understand how. I don't understand how that script gets written, and I don't understand how Robert De Niro and Al Pacino sign on to it.
Yeah.
So this one, fucking The Irishman being, this is like wiping that one off the map. Like, forget about that one. This is the real Robert De Niro, Al Pacino movie you've been waiting for ever since Heat. Nobody cares about Righteous Kill. I'm okay with that whole like de-aging stuff, the CGI that they do nowadays. A lot. A whole bunch. I'm hoping that it winds up looking good.
Yeah.
The trailer, it looked okay. It wasn't great, but at the same time, it's like, I know that Robert De Niro is not that young anymore, so
yeah,
it's never gonna feel real, no matter how good it looks, because it's gonna be like, oh, that's weird. I like the fact that I'm assuming that there's gonna be like further de-aging, because in the trailer, it was like they made a guy who was 70 look like he's 50, like, you know what I mean? Like, not that huge of a jump. Have you seen any movies with the like de-aging in it? Like, have you watched any movies with that specific sort of thing going on?
I don't think so.
It became a big thing in the Marvel movies.
Gotcha.
After a while, it's neat how they do it. Sometimes it's a little wonky.
Yeah.
Like, there's a really good one where they do like young Kurt Russell. He's in the movie, and then they have him sort of present as like a younger self. It looks pretty darn good. They do a really weird one in Rogue One, the like essentially Star Wars New Hope prequel movie.
Okay.
Where it shows the people going and stealing the plans for the Death Star instead of it just being in the crawl.
Okay.
And for one, at the very end of the movie, they have Princess Leia. And so it's like essentially like a digital recreation of Carrie Fisher from 1977.
Okay.
Like, I'm assuming they had an actress stand in, and then they kind of put a de-age Carrie Fisher face on top. It does look a little weird. But the other one that was really weird, it was one of those things that I can't remember exactly when, but I remember my dad once talking to me about, like, you know, as technology gets better and better, eventually they're not even going to need the actors. They'll just digitally put them in the movie, I bet. In my head, I'm like, you're crazy. I mean, that's CGI. Fucking, they digitally recreated Grand Moff Tarkin. Like, Peter Cushing's been dead for years.
Okay.
They digitally created him on top of like an actor.
Okay.
And had a sound alike do the voice.
Oh.
To create the illusion of Peter Cushing as Grand Moff Tarkin. Not like how some movie like that Han Solo prequel movie just had someone playing Han.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was like, no, Peter Cushing is going to play Grand Moff Tarkin again. But he's been dead for so long that
Did he get a postmortem credit?
I don't think so. But it's just like the concept of like, yeah, we don't want to just recast Grand Moff Tarkin.
Right.
Like, and have someone who like kind of looks like Peter Cushing. We want Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah.
And it was so weird. And it did not pass the human test, you know?
Yeah.
Like, to me.
Right.
There were some people out there who said that they, like, you know, they brought someone to see the movie and that person never even questioned that it was a real person and not like a CGI recreation.
Yeah.
But as soon as I saw it, it was like, oh wow, okay. It's good, but it's
not there yet.
It's not there yet. There's a lot of little things.
They'll get there.
I am terrified of that. And like, not in like a, oh God, our image being stolen and, you know, that kind of, I just feel like it's like eventually none of this is going to be fucking real. You're not going to shoot on anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like all of a sudden it's like, well, we don't need the actors anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll just digitally make the actors, and then, well, we just digitally make the backgrounds. We just fucking make everything. Who cares? And it's like, well, shit. I get that you can do a whole lot more, you know, animating with computers and stuff, but there's got to be a line somewhere.
See, I think what helps prevent that from happening is the fact that, yeah, you can buy someone's likeness, but can you really digitally create their like personality?
Yeah,
as an actor.
like the choices they would make
Yeah.
and whatnot. Because you could definitely, there's fucking. I bet you can find 100 people who could do like a Robin Williams voice.
Yeah.
And have someone sort of act like him, like in his body motions to play the part and then sound the part with the voiceover and like have it be like, oh yeah, Robin Williams. It's like, yeah, but that dude's brain was so fucking wired different.
Yeah.
That it's like he would make the choice that nobody would ever imagine is even a choice. It's not even like that's the weirdest choice. It's like that wasn't even on the table.
Yeah. He walked in and sat on his head. Like,
yeah.
That's Robin Williams for you.
It's just like,
you can't recreate that.
Yeah, something weird like that. It's like that's definitely an avenue that would be very difficult to like.
But see, for smaller things like like a small like 1 or 2 line part, like I could see that being like
a norm.
Yeah.
Digitally putting like old actors into a movie to just like tip their hat towards the camera. Like they don't even say a line.
Yeah.
It's like, was that fucking I almost said Clint Eastwood. It's like, wait a minute.
Not done yet.
Is that young Clint Eastwood nodding at old Clint Eastwood? What would be really weird is like think about like a sequel like Dumb and Dumber 2.
Okay.
It's like not even, you don't even have to have seen the movie or anything about it, just knowing the concept where it's like, okay, so Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels in the 90s were like 30s, like early 30s, mid 30s. I don't know exactly what their ages were supposed to be, but in that age range.
Right.
So then you get Dumb and Dumber 2 20 years later, and now they're in their 50s, they're pushing 60.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's just not fucking funny anymore.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's sad. Yeah. It's so sad.
You should not be playing these characters.
Like
at this age.
I'm not even talking about like for the actors, because it's like for the actors, it's a gig. I get it. For the characters, it's like no longer is it funny to laugh at these guys, especially because I don't know what Jeff Daniels was doing, because he was on that show, The Newsroom. For several years, this real popular like newsroom. It's called The Newsroom.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, exactly. But I haven't seen it either.
Okay.
But I just know, nominated for a bunch of shit. He was given a bunch of accolades, for his acting in it. It's like Jeff Daniels is a good fucking actor.
Yeah.
So then he comes.
He grew up after Full House.
Was Jeff Daniels on Full House? No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. He just looks like the guy that was on Full House.
I was like, wait a minute. But, he's a really good actor. And so he comes back to play Harry in Dumb and Dumber 2.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was a choice he made specifically as an actor, if he was told to do it, or if he just didn't even know he was doing it. But fucking all of a sudden, he just has this like ridiculous lisp.
What?
And it's like, Harry didn't have a lisp in the first movie. And it just seems like Harry had a stroke or something. And you feel terrible. You know what I mean? It's like these guys are declining. They are so, this is the saddest thing in the world. But you think about it, I mean, they'd never throw the amount of money at a Dumb and Dumber sequel to do it, which is the big thing. But like, that's the kind of movie that shit would be dope for. It's like, okay, you still have Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels to play the characters.
Yeah.
You just fucking age them down so that the sequel takes place in like 1998. A few years after the first movie, not 20 fucking years after the first movie.
Yeah.
I've heard some rumors that this new Chris Nolan movie, Tenet, is, I mean, rumors as in people are just making wild assumptions, but rumors that it could possibly be somehow related to Inception. Like,
interesting.
In its movie world, I don't really know how much stock to put in it.
Yeah,
you could go back and do like a sequel to Inception and age everyone, by now, and age everyone down, and just take off that little bit of extra and make it like it takes place seconds after it. Not that movie really. I guess that's a terrible way to go. Forget that. We'll just talk about
like the ending. That was like the big controversy.
Yeah.
Didn't they like all just like go their separate ways afterwards too? Like the job was done, so they all just
they had their little Breakfast Club moment of everyone like looking at each other and giving a little nod as they're like leaving, like I'm getting my bags, like I'm on my way to the shuttle. Like, we are strangers going our separate ways. Definitely didn't just brain rape this guy. Like, seriously, man.
Yeah.
So weird when you really get down and think about it. It's like it's so cathartic at the end, and you're like,
Hmm.
oh, all of this, this fucking impossible seeming mission, they've done it, and they've accomplished their task. Cobb won't be arrested,
Hmm.
oh, everything's working out. And you think about it, and it's like you still just helped a conglomerate take out a rival or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's such a weird thing where it's
It's
like,
still a dirty deed.
kind of, yeah. It's like, okay, like, congrats to you, I guess.
Yeah.
But you still like have,
But that's his character. That's what he does.
yeah.
Is he, but
I guess. Well, what's really weird about it, and I'd have to watch it again to get a real better sense of it. But I've just been thinking about it lately. So what's his? Is it Fisher? Right, the guy whose head they go into,
yes.
right? Yeah,
Yes.
Fisher. I forget his first name. Okay, so they go into his head. First level, they fucking kidnap him.
Right.
I think that's when they force him to give them a number,
Yeah.
and it's just to set up in the next level the code to the safe
Right.
to open it. And so like they do a bunch of like mumbo jumbo talk about
Hmm.
like he's projecting his own whatever into, he sees in the safe or whatever what he wants it to be.
Right.
And we're, just sort of
Coaxing him.
yeah, we're kind of shepherding him in the direction we want him to go, but it's still a lot of his like subconscious stuff going into it. But like if you're with how much they're affecting it, when it comes to that like big cathartic heart to heart with his dad
Hmm.
at the end, it's like how much of that was his dad? You know what I mean? Like how
That
much of that
was,
was his actual thoughts about his father, and how much
yeah.
of it was like a real twisted manipulation by these people. So
Yeah.
it's like you see him and you feel kind of happy for him that he gets that validation
Hmm.
that he always wanted, but it's like that might not even be real.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you just cool with that as a person watching and sitting there? It's like, are you cool with like? It's like he's happy. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's fake.
Yeah.
But they don't really dwell
It's,
on that. It doesn't seem like that's really supposed to be what you're thinking about.
yeah.
That seems kind of
That's,
tossed to the side. Like, okay, everything's cool there. Let's see what Dom's doing over here.
yeah.
And it's just like, because fucking he sits down and he talks with that dude, the like advisor guy.
Hmm.
And one time it's Eames
Right.
pretending to be him. So that's all bullshit.
Yeah.
And then the next level, he talks to him again, but this time it's his actual like projection.
Yeah.
of
It's
him.
his like subconscious projection.
Yeah, but how much of that projection has been affected by
By what
Eames's
Eve-
portrayal
yeah.
of him? So it's
Oh.
like none of this is fucking
Oh.
real at this point. You get down to that bottom and he's having this heart to heart with nothing.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking weird. And then they're just like, got our money, got my freedom, peace out. It's
Yeah.
like, you just fucking, like that dude got on that plane with one mindset, fell asleep, and woke up and his brain was changed
Yeah.
through nothing of his own doing, really.
That is, yeah.
And I think that's what's so like cool about it too, is that it's like it's got such a fun vibe to it, and like sort of like a spacey ass Bond movie feel to it, that you're just totally enraptured in it, that all that stuff just kind of washes over you. You don't even really think about it.
Yeah.
They call that fridge horror,
Okay.
named after the like phenomenon of you go and you see the movie, you go home, you sit around for a bit, you go to the fridge, you open it up, all of a sudden it dawns on you like, oh, that was fucked up.
Yeah.
Or or it's like it takes a while for it to
Yeah.
settle in. Speaking of fridge horror though,
Okay.
it does make me think that we can talk about, even though we're a little bit late, we can talk about the last movie that we went to see, Midsommar, or Midsommar, as I've heard people say it in interviews with like Ari Aster and stuff.
Like Ari Aster pronounced it that way?
No, he never said it, but the guy, when he introduced him, he was
Mm-hmm.
like, the director of the new movie, Midsommar. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm not going to say it, but I get
Yeah.
it. I used to be way about that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
About like, no, it has to be the way that they wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But in my head, it's like, I've been saying Midsummer the whole time because it still looks,
Yeah.
that's what it says, I guess. A little piece of fridge horror that for some reason it didn't dawn on me, and this might be only for me. Like it might not. There are probably plenty of people who, when it was happening in the theater, were just like, gotcha. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, it took me a little bit longer. That little spoilers too, I guess.
Yeah, if you
if
haven't seen Midsommar or
yeah.
Midsommar, whichever you prefer.
Also, if I've already ruined Righteous Kill for you, I'm sorry. But in that dream sequence she has when she wakes up and everyone's bailing on her
Mm-hmm.
and they're all in the car driving off.
Mm-hmm.
The end of that dream sequence when she like reaches out and she's trying to scream and like no sound comes out and then
Mm-hmm.
all that like black smoke is coming out of her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Completely fucking went over my head of like, oh, car exhaust. Oh, that's
Oh.
what's coming out of her mouth. It wasn't just like dream smoke.
Damn.
It was a specific thing relating to her sister. And I was like, oh shit, I did not catch that one.
I got that now.
Yeah.
Damn.
There's so I mean, I do wish that we'd had an opportunity to like go and see it again.
Yeah.
Simply because I know there's so much shit I missed. Oh my god.
Ugh.
Like I kept hearing reading online fucking everyone talking about it and stuff, and you'd see a couple of them that are like, oh yeah, I caught that, you know, or it's like, ooh, what about the flower on her crown? Like, oh yeah, I fucking saw that.
I
like,
think everyone saw that. It was on her fucking face.
Yeah. But then there were other ones where people were like, it's like, did you see the faces in the trees? And I was like, what?
What?
Yeah, apparently like during at least one of the like dinner or like lunch or whatever the fuck time of day it was scenes.
Yeah.
Like
one of the eating times.
Yeah, one of them eating times. Apparently in the background, like some of the trees have like faces in them.
Oh.
And I was like, shit, I did not catch that. Apparently that movie is like incredibly accurate from things I've read. I've never done acid.
Me neither.
But apparently people were, when they were watching it, they were like, yup. Like, especially the not wanting new people right now kind of thing. People were like, oh yeah, 100 times I've said that. Like, can't deal with new people right now. There are a couple of things that I would like to hear your sort of opinion on. One of them is is kind of more trivial. The other one's a little more of like a big sort of chunk of the movie that you would have to kind of think about.
Mm-hmm.
But when Christian stumbles into that chicken coop and that British dude, I forget his name now, hung up in that blood eagle with his like lungs pulled out behind his back. Some people were like, oh, he wasn't really alive. That was just the acid or the whatever drugs he was on that made him think that he was breathing. I completely disagree with that. All the other things looked like very digitally manipulated, like in a more of like a trippy way where it's like, I know it's not moving, but it's moving. Yeah. So it's weirding me out.
There's movement on it, but it itself is not moving,
exactly.
Sort of thing. Yeah.
But in this case, when they showed those lungs, they were very clearly inflating and deflating. Like as a person was breathing, that like he was clearly alive.
Yes, at that point in time, he was.
Yeah, I don't understand why anyone would think the other way, but I saw that and I was like,
themselves feel better.
I guess.
But that was just too horrible for them. Face smashed in by a giant hammer, that's fine, but no spread eagle. Spread eagle. I mean.
Oh man. I mean, there was spread eagle in the movie. So
yes, there was.
Yeah.
Moving
but
on.
The other big thing that people have like sort of disagreed about, or at least there's been a theory, is that I forget now. I know how it's spelled, but Pele. I forget how they pronounce it. Pele. It wasn't Pele. I would have remembered that.
Pele?
Yeah,
that
whatever
sounds
it was.
right, Pele.
But people keep saying that they're like, he was the one who killed her sister and parents. I say no way. I say not a chance in hell. I think that's ridiculous.
So it's funny that you bring this up because when I was talking with Dave about it, he mentioned that.
Yeah.
I do not think that he is the one that killed her sister and her parents.
Yeah. For one, I feel like that robs that scene of its
absolutely.
gravity. If it's like, this was all orchestrated by the cults, like it is so much more heartbreaking if that was just what fucking happened.
Yeah.
And that is what sends her into basically right into the arms of these people where it's like, oh, do you need someone to be empathetic? Yeah. That's literally our game. Like that's what we do. Yeah. We're fucking empathetic. Like you need someone to fucking cry with.
And Pele just
and he
Pele
yeah.
just happened to be there to see that that's what you needed.
Yeah, I mean, especially because of how much time it like elapses. Because they die in winter and then summer is when they come around to do it.
Right.
And it's like, that's enough time for him to be like, oh shit, that happened to her? Oh shit, she would be perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
I feel like that's not the point of why it takes that long, because obviously the movie's split into like winter and summer, you know, with how much the seasons and all that stuff play into it, where it's like it's very specific why it's like that. But it happens to give it that length of time where it's like, no, yeah, I think that's probably what happened. And not only that, and this is the one that really sticks with me, I don't buy at all that this cult has anything supernatural about it. You know what I mean?
People are saying that?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I'm getting into it because, you know, with Hereditary, it's very obvious that there's something very supernatural happening with these people.
Yeah.
So when people complain about, like, how did the cult orchestrate, you know, Charlie getting her head ripped off by that specific pole that they marked, and it's like, because it's a fucking demon.
Yeah.
You know, oh man, damn it. I wish you'd seen Dogma. There's a great fucking line in it from Jason Lee. Like, I'm a fucking demon. Like, that's why that happened, because I'm a fucking demon.
Yeah.
Like, we can figure this shit out. But with them, it's very clearly just a bunch of people living the way that they do based on the beliefs that they have and the drugs that they take.
Yeah.
And the crazy shit that they believe, but nothing about it is supernatural. There's no like demon. There's no entity. There's nothing that can like orchestrate events beyond the things that they're doing.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Everything is clearly their own doing, and they just use mushrooms to, you know,
mushrooms and acid and fucking whatever they blew in his face before he went to bang the girl.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my God. So it's very clear that they are just a group of crazy people.
Kind of hippie-ish.
Yeah. So the fact that like she is wherever she is, obviously they're in the same city, I'm assuming. But you know, she's at her apartment, you know, trying to talk to her sister on the computer and calling Christian and, you know, freaking out about it, calling her other friend and Christian and the rest of them. And Pele specifically are out at that like pizza place or whatever, and they're talking.
Yeah.
For one, he specifically mentioned like they're all telling him to break up with her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Pele specifically is like, yeah, think of all the beautiful women you can impregnate. Which again, fantastic foreshadowing line.
Yeah, right.
But he, you know, he's very much trying to convince him to break up with her. Now, it's been shown that he has like a thing for her. Yeah. So that there very well could be some undermining there. Where he's like, oh no, yeah, totally. You should totally break up with her, man.
Still an ulterior motive.
Yes,
but
he's still being he still definitely likes her, and he still may really have wanted her to come. I don't think he had any way of orchestrating what happened, because they're in whatever fucking city they're in. I forget if it's specified or not.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, they are wherever they are. And fucking her sister and parents are clearly nowhere where she could get to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know the geographic location. I don't know if they're supposed to be somewhat nearby or if she's across the fucking country. Yeah. I don't even think it's supposed to necessarily matter.
She can't get to
exactly.
them.
She could not possibly get anywhere. So are you telling me that Pele like flew cult members in from Sweden to come to whatever American city that is, to go and set that up while he is with Christian, like to give him an alibi for something no one would assume he would do anyway?
Yeah.
Like if he's not the one doing it, then he's brought people to do it? Yeah. He's hired people to do it? Did he go find a hitman? Like, how could he have orchestrated that? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like if he wasn't there, if he showed up later in the movie, then it'd be like, yeah, okay. But,
much more believable then.
Exactly. But because he is literally at the table with them, it's like not a chance. Not even the tiniest little bit of a chance. For a movie as fucking like crazy and all over the place and full of just like ridiculous shit. Because that's like the whole point of the movie is like, when do you leave? Yeah. Like in this case, it's just like, at what point are you uncomfortable with these people?
Yeah.
Like if you were there with them, like how much of this would you take as, like that British couple?
Yeah.
Most people would, as soon as that happened, they'd be like, I am fucking out.
Yeah.
Some people would have done it even earlier. You know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah.
It's just how much can you stand of this group? The fact that they're, what are they again? They're like anthropology students, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So like they're interested in it. So it's like it's a horror movie where instead of being trapped, they don't want to go until it's too fucking late.
Right.
But for as crazy as it is, for all that shit that goes on, I feel like that movie is really straightforward. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it's really like a puzzle box that you're supposed to be like unwrapping and unpackaging. It's just something that's like, oh, that's what happened.
It set out to tell a story and it did just that.
Yeah, but like it's, it's like, okay, so it's like her sister killed herself and her parents. She's all alone. She needs someone to sympathize with her, someone to be there for her. Christian is kind of just lip servicing it. So he's not really giving her what she needs. She gets to this fucking crazy Swedish commune and slowly over the course of, several days realizes that they are the exact place that she needed to be. And she wins that's another thing too, is people talking about like that she was.
Did they stage her winning?
Yeah, which I could maybe see that if they were really like, if they really really liked her.
Yeah, they really wanted her. I mean, because it's fresh blood for new babies.
Yeah, so that I could kind of see, and especially like nobody was gonna leave. That's really like a big. I mean, it's a standard horror movie trope, but it's like none of these people were getting out of there, no matter how much you would have wanted them to. So it's like if she wins the fucking May Queen competition and she gets exalted and is shown all this wonderful like love and affection and caring, it's like, isn't that better? She'll stick around instead of having to be like, oh, are you horrified by us? Well, I guess we'll have to kill you too. It's like, well, fuck it. Make her the queen, make her one of your people. Yeah. It just makes sense. But it feels like it was pretty darn straightforward. Everything it showed you, it did. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's a poster, the poster for like the Italian release of the movie. Okay. Is that painting at the start. Oh. With the, winter and spring and summer and all that stuff. And so I was able to like actually look at it, and it's super cool because it basically just tells you the movie. Yeah. Because it's like it shows her or like, a girl, and around her is, another young girl and then two older adults floating around. Okay. And the like ribbons that are connecting them from her are like, they're cut. So it's like, okay, those are her parents and her sister and her, and she's been separated from them. Yeah. And then in the next one, it shows the group like going to the whatever, going to the commune, and Mark's got a little jester's hat on, and it shows up in the corner there's two people who are like upside down and a cliff behind them. Oh. So it's like, okay, there's the fucking people jumping to their deaths. Yeah. And then the last panel is like a big long table with like the queen and flowers at the end and everything and all. And it's just like, there's the short version. Yeah. Now watch these next 3 hours to watch the full long version, because it was long. Yeah. But I mean, I'm
definitely
fine with
worth
that.
it though.
Well, that's about it, folks. So join us next time when we have a little more of an idea of what we're going to be talking about ahead of time.
A little more direction.
Yeah, and something that hopefully has an actual beginning and ending. But thank you very much. Guess signing off for Popcorn for Dinner. I'm Jeff.
I'm Kelly.
Peace.